Good morning. Are you awake? It's 4:20. At least people in America know what that is. Germans apparently have no clue. Because they would say today is 24. They do it backwards. 20.4. That has nothing to do with the picture. Marcus and I were just discussing that, everybody. Can you see that? I don't even have the chat broken up. Can you see who's in this picture? This is the best picture ever so far of the Trump presidency. If anything really, if one picture says 1,000 words, this one's incapable because of the people in it. Really, it says about 4 or 5. Just these are 4 of the dumbest human beings on planet Earth together in the Oval Circus. Yeah. Good morning. Good evening. Hey, Paula, Jim, Melissa, Density, John. Hey, Ellis, Louise. Yeah, this is that happened. This happened. I'm so embarrassed I can't even. That's Ted Nugent, one of the most well-known pieces of shit, who also happens to have been a musician at some point in the 70s. And Kid Rock, who was one of the few people besides Ted Nugent who agreed to do anything musically with Trump and for his campaign, and Sarah Palin, the pinnacle of, I don't even know, she's just idiocy with 45. I don't even know if there's enough IQ in that room to turn on any kind of light bulb. It's really sad. Those 4 people are discussing policy, or maybe Kid Rock's latest set list, or I don't know, but that's it. The last time I can remember something like that happening, I actually thought it was really cool. I don't remember it happening. It happened before I was born. Nixon had Elvis in the White House. Both of them immensely smarter than the 4 people in that room there at that time, right? Elvis, at least. Anyway. Yes, Kid Rock. I know. What? Why were these people there? We don't know. I don't know we don't know. Maybe they're replacing Bannon with 4, or with those 3. The Council of Stupid. I don't know what they are. They're just happy 420, Puppy Kitty, and Soul Rebel, and John Warren, and Bev, and Metalhead, and Brom, and Kenny, and Denise, and Paula. And Marcus is with me this morning. I'm going to give Latinos for Bernie credit for that cover card, although it's all over. I don't even know who actually did. A White House photographer takes that shit. But they're the ones I saw the quote. That's a caption contest. Please, somebody's got to make some memes. That's too easy to turn that into a fucking caption contest. Where's Chris Hardwick at midnight? He just run with that for the whole show. Good God. Just beautiful. And of course, we have Markus, the Burnin' German, with us. Good morning, Markus. How are you doing today?
Good morning, John. I'm doing fine. And to my friends in America, good morning, America.
Good morning, Markus.
And to the card, I gotta say, there comes a quote from Django Unchained in my mind. When Django said to one of the white guys, "Every stupid idiot knows that you don't wear a hat in a room."
I believe at some point, though, hats in the Oval Office were okay because, like, Lyndon Johnson was a big city slicker, Texas rancher, cowboy guy, and he wore his cowboy hat. So I think it's okay. And if we were going to put a hat on Trump, it would be his MAGA hat, right? He'd wear that baseball hat. But you're right, Django and you're absolutely right. It's not a normal. It's not a normal. I don't think that was No, it's not photoshopped. I mean, although I found out that several things that I've talked about have apparently been total fake news. Thank you, RT News. But what did I misspell? Who misspelled what? Did I misspell something on my card? Because that would be great. Who knows? I probably did in the description somewhere. I always misspell shit in the description because I do that really fast. It's the links are there. The links are there. That's what's more important. Hey, Chad.
I think it's a joke, my Chad.
Oh, it's a So Chad had a conversation with Dan Roll last night, and that was very cool. Dan is doing good. Had a lot of conversation about ground game, about the GA6, right? Everybody's talking about Georgia's 6th district and that whole thing going down with Ossoff. And Bernie made a statement that I thought is really cool. And we'll talk about it. He's not dissing Ossoff. He just said, I don't know. Neither do we. All I know is he's a Democrat instead of a Republican. That is already a better, even if he's an establishment Democrat. Because we should be able to bend that establishment Democrat to our will, and if not, we'll kick his ass out. Right. If he happens to win. He still hasn't won. He's got to go race against the woman who actually thinks having Trump on her side and campaigning for her will be a good thing. We have weird times. Weird times. I just, it's okay to shit his pants. Oh, yeah. Yes, they did, Janice. Yeah, yeah. All right, so what else? Events, many events. I got to cover all the events. Hang on. Where are all these event cards? We got so many things going on, everybody. Big thank you to Ashley Terry for actually putting these cards together and everybody who works to get the information correct. Next week, look at us having our shit together. Next week, Chad talks with Timothy Vanderveer, who is the chair of the Hawaiian Democratic Party. That is pretty badass. The Hawaiian Democratic Party is now much more progressive than it used to be. Right? And there was recently a woman who was a member of the Hawaiian, I believe it was Hawaii, pretty sure it was Hawaii, right? And she got bitched at for, saying doing the Women's March, and she left the Republican Party. She was a Republican in Hawaii. She left the Republican Party. She's going over to the Democrat Party. So that's pretty cool. We've got a lot of progressive movement happening in Hawaii, which you would think that would happen anyway. But remember, Hawaii, just a big military installation for us, right? Not the awesome environment, natural preserve things that it should be. It's a military installation providing a great strategic, tactical, blah, 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 blah. That's Hawaii for our government. Right. Oh, that was the caption suggest. Thank you, Chad. I got it now. Let me go back up to that then. That's wonderful. You misspelled smart. See, now that's funny. Context helps. All right, so I want you to preface your caption contest in chat with caption contest, and then tell me, and that way I'll have some. Thank you. That's great. I love that. That was wonderful. What do we got here? More Democrats first, then better Democrats. Yes. Thank you. And I want to respond to a comment that I haven't seen all of it. Jilly Love, I'm going to go find it, but it was you talking about me and incrementalism and non-incrementalism. And yeah, I've made a big change in my thinking. I made a big change in my thinking in the last 2 years. People can do that in 2 years. They can come to new conclusions and grow up. And I was for an all-out revolution. Absolutely. I didn't think incremental change, the way Hillary Clinton was suggesting it, the way the establishment was suggesting it, was a good thing. But what I've learned is that the only change I can make happen, and the determination on how fast it is, whether it's incremental or not, swooping changes or not, has to do with me and my power within my government. That's it. So what we're doing right now may seem incremental in the sense that we each have to take a role in our government. We have to take over our local, state, county, and then move on up the chain and eventually take over the Fed. And we got a long way to go to climb to the top of bullshit mountain, right? But apparently that's the only way to go without going full all violent revolution, which we've learned it can be successful, but is not historically as successful as peaceful revolution, and that would mean taking a role in our democracy. That's what that's how it functions here, at least at this point. That doesn't mean that we may be forced to be violent. I mean, if the government just goes all out totalitarian and they send troops around and start shooting everybody, who knows, right? But they'd have to call our hand on that. So anyway, I have made a big shift because I see where the power is. I see how it can be taken. And we're watching it get taken every day. Right, Mark? Every day we report on this shit.
Yes, yeah. You see it. You see the town halls. You see how people are engaging in the ground game, and it's impressing, I think. And only this movement will make a change, in my opinion.
Yes, and Phil Britton. Exactly, Mark. And Phil Britton, you're right. Incremental change is democratic euphemism for stay broke, keep rich people rich, blah blah blah. I agree. right? We got to make change. With climate, I don't believe incremental change will work. We need sweeping, massive, insane change if we're going to save ourselves. So, like, that's a whole different thing. With our government, it changes as fast as our government can change. I mean, in the conversation, this is interesting. Chad and Dan were talking about the workings of the inner government where they are. And I was listening in just, as the guy who's not even an official PCP yet, having seen 2 Democratic meetings, right? And I'm going to my local county Democratic meeting, and Dan, I'm assuming he's going to his. Chad goes to those plus some bigger ones because he's in some bigger things. But everybody. Both of them were talking on, like, they're frustrated. They're frustrated with the lack of technology. They're frustrated with the lack of speed. They're frustrated with the redundant discussion of shit that they deem not really important, right? The focus on process instead of getting shit done. The focus on the platform and the words in it instead of the actions we're going to take to enact the platform. So it's become evident that one of the first things we have to do as progressives, taking over our Democratic Party, is modernize the damn party, modernize the process. We've got a shit ton of work to do. And the good thing about that is pretty much everybody I've talked to in the parties are eager for that. Most of the older folks, they're not resistant to it. They just don't know how. Right? They're like, I've been using an overhead projector for 40 years. Give me something better. Okay. So that to me, that's one of the biggest issues, is that we have to upgrade. Our democracy has not been upgraded. Our tools, our processes have not upgraded because nobody's really given a shit about them. So I found that very interesting that is now important. It's important to the progressives, important to the new young people coming into the party, because they're like, it shouldn't run like this. We've got phones, smartphones, we've got apps. We could be doing this online. We could be, instead of printing out 1,000 pieces of paper and have everybody waste time. My group had scribes. That's idiotic. Scribes, like Middle Ages. Can somebody please write this shit down in each group? No. I mean, I understand that why we do it, but we could do this the way they did it in maybe the 20th century. Anyway. Just.
Chat has a question here in chat.
Yeah.
And here's a question from me. Should we start a Dem Enter UK group for their upcoming election in June? In June.
What do you think?
Well, good question. I don't think that it would be a real election, because if you look, we have nearly May, and it is only 7 weeks until this election. And if you see that the Labour Party is crushed, and there isn't a real opponent anymore for the Tory Party and Theresa May, so the only purpose is to legalize her Brexit efforts, to get the country behind her.
I know nothing about any of this shit. I'm looking forward to learning from Markus and from Katie on Saturday a lot more about the whole French thing, and then I'm hoping we're going to dig into some European politics and figure out how it's working or not working, and how it fits into the survival of all of us. Because we will be affected, Americans, by what happens over there, believe it or not.
Yes, if the EU breaks down, and the EU would break down in case there would be a Frexit, yes, then things might get rough. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. We'll see what happens here. The U.S. isn't looking too good. We're headed towards a massive depression, recession, catastrophic. I haven't been talking about it. We're totally off track for what I want to talk about. I was going to talk about weed first, because 420. All right, we haven't even gotten through the event. Is that the retail market is dead? The retail market is taking a hard nosedive. They are closing thousands and thousands of stores. Malls are dying. This is happening. I think I heard my bird. There's a bird loose in the garage, by the way. I keep seeing report after report on this, because Americans don't have any money, and nobody's going out to stores to buy shit. If they buy anything, they do it online, or they go to their local store. But nobody's going to malls anymore, because Americans have no money. This is what happens with greedy capitalist pigs when they keep all the money and talk about this trickle-down bullshit. Right now, we got nothing. Americans don't have money to spend anymore, and fewer Americans have money to spend. And so malls are closing up, shops are closing down, and it's a retail spiral, and it's going to affect it's already affected thousands of jobs, and that's going to perpetuate the spiral. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Going off on a total another thing. Yeah. Sears looks like a ghost town. Yeah, I know. JCPenney, gone. Thanks, John. Good to know my store will close soon because no one has any money. Nothing like lifting me up. Sorry, Melissa H. Do you work for one of these retailers? I just don't know what to say. Sorry. That's,
This sucks.
It does. We are, many of us are forced with job changes regardless because of where technology is heading, right? I mean, even Markus at some point is going to be forced to not do something with cars, maybe 20 years from now, and he may want to do something different before then. But we don't know. We don't know because the technology in the world is shifting so fast. Things are changing so fast. I got some science at the end of this that's an example of that. Oh, Melissa, you own a store. What kind of store? Are you part of a retail chain? I mean, I don't want to get into it, but I mean, that's, I get it. Amazon is the new Walmart effect. It really is. It really is. Online, and there's a lot of online retailers that are saying, we wish we had focused more online, or there's a lot of retailers now that I wish we had invested in our Walmart is diving heavily into online now. They're trying to catch up with Amazon, right? So, yeah. And for the business owner, having an online entity, having a website, being able to do e-commerce, that's essential now. It's just welcome to the 21st century, in a world that really isn't designed for people to be successful, whether you're a capitalist or not. It's just not. Melissa says, my store is doing okay because I sell discounted and used books. All right. Just need more people to realize that they can get books cheaper from me than Amazon. That's cool. Musical instruments, art supplies, toys. Drop us links. Do you have any online presence at all? Drop us links. We'll promote. Why not? We got to help each other out. But by the way, we have a massive doubling of our audience. Don't know why. But hi, everybody. All new, the whole 600 people that are looking at us now. It's like more than 600 people watched the show the other day. I'd if any of you who are new, seeing this for the first time, could tell us why, that'd be great. I'd love to do it again. What'd we do? What'd we say?
Obviously, there was something we were doing right.
Is it more German stuff? Do you need more German stuff? What
Well, I doubt this.
Yeah, what is it? Yeah. And it could just be that we've got a lot of people that have been sharing and helping us out, and I appreciate that. Steve Collins, I see your shares all the time. Judy, Bev, you guys are all sharing. Thank you. That's the way it helps. But I mean, really, more than 600 views. Markus and I both noticed. We're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's awesome. Oh, gosh. What are you guys saying? Hey, Density. Paula, yeah. Louise, Sears has been on downhill since 2001. Yeah. It's interesting because, Sears Roebuck didn't used to have stores. They were a catalog. Or most people got shit from the Sears catalog because they didn't have stores open all across the country. Now they're going back to the same concept. Just online catalog, Things come around. People come here for the rallies. They do. And maybe it's because we've been doing more rallies. I don't know. Hey, Keith. Thank you, Steve. Yes, I'm glad. All right, so 420. We all know what Bernie said about 420, right? Here's this. I'm just looking at Happy 420 is trending right now. It was at the top of Twitter trends the last time I looked. It's wonderful. They don't celebrate it in Germany because they're just wrong. And Bernie Sanders says he smoked pot twice. What, Markus?
Don't make me come over there.
No, you don't want to come over. You don't want to come over here. That's my threat to you. That's my threat to you. You come out of the nasty states of America. Come on over. You'll die. We got bad air, bad water. We'll meet,
No, you come here if you want some.
Pass me the zircon-encrusted tweezers, please. Nice. So Bernie, as always, said that he smoked it twice and he coughed a lot, and he must have enjoyed that. That's the whole point, Bernie. You got and
well,
what, Marcus?
The fact he coughed says me that he inhaled.
Exactly. Got to cough to get off, right? That's the way it goes.
Not like Clinton,
Yes. This is who is the first politician? Has there been one? Everybody, has there been a politician that's been like, I smoke pot, I still smoke pot, I enjoy smoking pot, I'll continue to smoke pot and serve your interests as senator of such and fuck? Do we have anybody that said that yet? Because that will be my platform. Hi, I'm John Ellis. I'm running for whatever it is you've asked me to, and I smoke pot. Matter of fact, you're glad that I smoke pot, because if I didn't smoke pot, I'd have a hard time tolerating all y'all. So I do it for you. There we go. Vote for me. John Ellis
This would be the United Potheads of America.
The United Potheads of America. I think the Cannabis Party. If you're going to start a Green Party, let's just call it what we want it to be, the Cannabis Party, and every member of Congress needs to inhale.
Yeah. This would replace the purity test.
Yes. And imagine the peaceful, kind, mellow Congress we'd have.
Yes.
Be like, does Speaker have anything to say? No, man. Hang on, I'm packing this bowl. I'll tell you in a minute. All right, does the second Speaker have anything to say? No, not really.
Can you imagine Sean Spicer being relaxed and polite and cool?
No. And then
hey guys,
he'd giggle. He could just giggle and run away.
Yeah.
This is we're gonna play this video. This is Potheads United. There we go, Phil. PHU. There you go. Justin Bryce agrees. Wonderful, Justin. Do you think we could run on that platform? I don't know. Got to put it together. The purity weed test. Exactly. John Warren says that would be amazing. Metalhead, they all grew it. Puppy Kitty says that will be me. All right. I doubt I will win any race with that platform. No race. Maybe in the town of Weed, which is a town. Exists. It's in California, believe it or not. Yes, our government needs weed. Agree. They just need it. They need to mellow. Everybody mellow. Less testosterone, more cannabinoids. That's what we need. Very much so. Imagine Kelly and Conway on weed brownies. No.
Louise is great also. The first time I smoked was to see why my kids were smoking it. I told them it was not a big deal. They told me I was high.
They were right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Two things great on this. This is a HuffPost article. Just to remind everybody, this came out in 2013, but they update it every year, I think, and it's the same because it never changes, because no one has ever died from cannabis. Ever. And nobody ever will, because it's scientifically impossible, because cannabis does not do to your body what other things that can kill you do. It does not affect your core motor systems. Scientific fact. It can't stop your heart. It can't stop your breathing. Okay? It can't stop your nervous system. It can't stop any of your core functions. It does not hit that main center of your brain, like alcohol and opiates and all the other things that are, legal. That's, But this is the best thing. Yes, testosterone, I agree, is the evilest drug in the world. I agree. Church of Marijuana. Maybe I could be an extension. We could be a branch of the Church of Marijuana. File nonprofit status that way and hold services or whatever. I do that. I didn't realize they had a church of that. All right, let's watch this video because I think this is great. This is good, and then I'll tell you what my dispensary is doing, which is even better.
First drive-through marijuana dispensary is about to open in Colorado. It was built inside an old car wash because customers have to drive inside the premises to make the transaction legal. Everyone in the car has to be 21 or older and has their IDs checked twice. once outside, then again once they pull into the dispensary. It opens to the public on April 20th.
Brilliant. Just brilliant. Hey, look, there's Bill O'Reilly on Fox News, and he's gone.
Oh.
Bill O'Reilly's gone. And the world went, so? No one cares about Bill. Although, I did you hear whoever took over for him, the woman? Bill was an outstanding journalist who set the new, raised the bar for journalists. I mean, what was that? Like putting a cherry on top of Bullshit Mountain before Bill leaves? Because that was...
I remember when Jon Stewart once destroyed his show. He was co-hosting a show. I don't know its name. It was Tucker Carlson. And Jon Stewart showed up and he said, "Please stop it. This show is so terrible you're doing." And Crossfire. It was Crossfire. It was Crossfire. And he wasn't just Jon Stewart. He was polite, but he was so sharp in his analysis of this crappy show. And the show was done, and I think it didn't take long, and the show was closed, was finished. They didn't air it anymore.
That's how Crossfire left. Yeah.
And Tucker Carlson was such a dick in the show; it was terrible to see.
Isn't he the one? I think he's the one slotted to take over.
He is the one who is going to take over Bill Riley's show. Yeah.
Which is now just called The Factor. Right.
Yeah.
Which they really should rename The Bullshit Factor, because that's...
Anyway, the shit stays the same.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. But there was something really annoying about Bill O'Reilly, so I'm really glad to see the guy go down. And I hope this sends him into prison or somewhere, lawsuit hell, broke. But it'll more than likely have him end up as a pundit on CNN after this all blows away. Because that's usually what... it doesn't matter. Oliver North... pundit, Colin Powell, pundit. Both of those guys, liars, right? Both of those guys, no integrity. But then, go ahead. Let's put them on. So I guarantee you that he will get a job. Bill will get a job on some other network somewhere.
And he's on holidays in Italy right now, and there are reports that he even met the Pope.
Yeah, lovely.
And shook his hand.
You wouldn't want to touch that. The point of the article though was about the drive-through dispensary, which I think is really cool. Although it's funny how they talk about it like it's the scary thing. If it was a drive-through booze thing, and there are drive-through liquor stores, okay, totally legal to do that. I've seen them all sorts of. Vegas has drive-through booze stores. All right, nobody'd give a shit. Matter of fact, they'd probably talk it up on the news like it was a boon. Another drive-through booze store goes up in downtown Denver. Customers are thrilled. Right? They're like, oh my God, we checked their ID twice. Oh my God, they're picking up some plants. This is even better. Going Green, which is the dispensary that I go to, they're wonderful. They're a great dispensary. They work with Wild West growers, very friendly. They have added, let's see if they have it in here, Munchies Delivery. Get your Munchies and marijuana delivered to your door. Order through Munchies Delivery in Albany, Oregon, and they will take care of the rest. Coming soon, 21 and older, recreational stuff. So they're doing this now. I have not seen the rest of the menu. I have not tried this yet. All right. I don't think the reason is because I don't think our house is within. Our house seems to be perfectly situated between both outside of both delivery areas of Corvallis and Albany. We are. Neither one's like, no, you're too far. Call Albany. Albany's like, call Corvallis. Like, thank you. So yeah, we're midway point, and nobody wants to deliver to midway. We're like the DMZ. But I think this would be think about who this could serve. You got college kids all over the place here. This is college towns. All right. So they're calling up. They're getting whatever their munchies are. Cannabis may not be killing people directly because of overdose, but it may prematurely kill them due to high cholesterol intake and other nasty foods, too many Pop-Tarts, soda, what else,
Weed on wheels.
Yes, weed on wheels. Let's see if we can get that federally funded. Weed on wheels, delivering weed to the elderly who need it, along with some food, because they need that too, because they've got weed now.
Exactly.
It's like Meals on Wheels, but way better. That's what we need. And the states, California could do that. Shit, California could do that because they're funding their own Meals on Wheels anyway.
Yeah, it would be Meals on Wheels on a higher standard.
Yes, and the reason I'm not joking. Like, we need to find ways to incorporate medical cannabis into other industries, because then other industries will be. We talked about this. We need other industries to be interested in it, right? You know.
Yes.
This is what the NRA does with other industries. You want to sell your industry, you got to tie it to something else. We're going to watch a video today with the founder of the Tea Party. This woman is a libertarian, and she is going to explain to you how we are totally fucking up with talking about climate change when we're trying to address it with Republicans, conservatives, or people who just are ignorant. And it's amazing what she's right. She's absolutely 100% right. And we're going to watch that just to talk about that. D. Mary Jane Zone, nice chat. Meals and weed on wheels. Yes, Jilly Love. As I reach for Captain Crunch, says Jim Lockett. Yes. Munchie's time to show up just as your craving kicks in. Yeah, exactly. Weed on wheels. I need to move, not even legal here, says Puppy Kitty. Speaking of that real quick, I just want to throw this out because I hadn't thought about this. If you have... Seeds today, sales and seeds. If you were thinking of buying seeds, today is the day, because seed stores around the world are offering deals. Dispensaries are offering deals. They already posted it on this is it's right here. It says Going Green Albany. Right underneath the message, it says 420 deals will be insane, or 420 sales are going to be awesome. I haven't even listed them. All right. So I will be going there after the show to go look for some things. I'm hoping for a high CBD clone. Who knows, right? But this is the day to buy seeds. If you're going to buy it all. Here's my statement to you. If you have seeds, or you buy seeds, and you're going to grow some, all right, but you're probably not going to plant all of them at once. If you would like them to be cloned and have more seeds made, I would be willing to facilitate that. So if you trust me and can send me 2 seeds, I will, or even if you have 1, I can work with 1, clone it, and eventually create seeds for you and cross strains. But we can grow a community seed bank and mother plant library and share. So I'm just going to throw that out. Like, I have Justin Bryce's Dream Queen, and we've got Dave's Mystery Strain, and I got like 2 different seed company seeds here. I got a bunch of stuff. So, I keep them all labeled, keep everybody. But I'm just going to throw that out. It'd be a way for us to help each other. One of those things. So I just want to throw that in there. Moving on. I'm going to talk about the place I first bought seeds. And this was in 2015. And it wasn't quite legal yet in Oregon. They'd said they were going to pass the law, but it wasn't legal yet. And I got started a little early because we bought ourselves all the hydro stuff. And so I went to this place. It's Crop King Seeds. And they're Canadians. A bunch of Canadians. I was scared to death. Let me tell you. I don't know. It just freaked me out. I was like, something's going to happen. They're going to find my credit card or do something, blah, blah. The lady was very nice. And we did a live chat. And she helped me understand how things work. That's the reason I love Crop King Seeds, is because they're really nice. They're very friendly. They understand that it's a bunch of Americans who have no idea what they're doing yet, and they help you, right? And so not only did they gave me an extra seed too. That was really cool. So like, I didn't have any idea what I was doing, what I was buying when I bought. And she answered a few questions for me, and I picked some strains based on my own idiot research. They threw an extra seed in there, Super Silver Haze 1, and that turned out to be the strain that blew my mind. It opened me to the real difference between a sativa that can unlock or control, or it was like, wow, this is incredible. So for me, that was like education. They didn't even know it, right? A lot of these seed companies will provide an extra packet of seeds, just whatever they got extra on hand, because seeds have shelf life. And if they go past 2 years, you're not sure their viability, no matter where they've been stored. You see stories of, they found a pot of seeds and they planted some and they grew. Well, how many of those actually sprouted because, seeds really only last a couple of years. So anyway, go buy seeds today if you're going to go buy seeds at all. And then if you want to share, I'm happy to grow strains for you and cross-pollinate and make all sorts of fun stuff, because that's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to say it. Super Silver Haze, yeah, Naima, it turned out to be my favorite strain ever. And I was dumb and I just grew the one plant, and it was amazing. It grew well in the, where it was my first grow. I like took one of each of the seeds that I bought, stuck them in there, and went, which was stupid because they were all very different kinds of plants. But you learn fast. Anyway, if you're thinking of buying seeds for the first time, they will help you out. It's Canada. I don't know how it works now with most places, but if it's not legal to buy in your state, you can do it with Canadian stores like this. They are selling you souvenirs. That's what they're called. They call them souvenirs. All right, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. All right, you have to talk to them, figure out how that works. I'm gonna leave it at that, because yeah, but good people, good place. Nirvana seeds, they're one of the biggest. Are you ready? Are you ready for liftoff? 420 into the deep space. 20% off. AK-48, Northern Light, White Widow, Simongo. If you're thinking of growing for the first time, Northern Lights, the original Northern Lights, and White Widow are two of the strains that everybody recommends for first-time growers because they're very easy. White Widow is a very powerful indica that makes big-ass buds with lots of trichomes. You'll be happy about that. You don't have to work hard for that. And Northern Lights is a fun indica that is it can be colorful if you can control the temperature a little bit and drop the temperature down into the mid to low 50s towards the end. Last like month or two, then you'll get these beautiful colors out of it. It's a very pretty marijuana plant and a great high. So easy ones to grow. And Nirvana Seeds has some deals. They're one of the more known and trusted seed banks with genetics in terms of quality. I mean, I've seen reviews on companies where they're selling old seeds. People like, I bought a pack of 10 and I got 3 that sprouted, and that's not cool, right? Because seeds they're expensive. These seeds range anywhere from $38 or $30 to a couple $100, right? Depending on what the strain is and how hot it is, which is why I prefer clones, because one $25 investment in a clone gives me a lifetime of that strain, right? With the possibility of all the phenotypes. So that's, but you got to have shit for that. That's what I'm saying. We'll share, we'll work resources together. And then lastly, this is in the links. All this stuff, all the links are in the description, everybody. This is just for your stony enjoyment. And I'm not going to play it, but it's quite interesting. This is like an Olympic ski jump somewhere in Japan or China. I don't know where they are. And they're rolling various tires down the ski jump to see just how far they will go. And I can't think of anything better to watch. Just for some basic entertainment, Here, we'll watch the first one. It's why not? Why not? We got time. Here. See that? Ski jumping tire. So that they're showing you the different models of vehicle that they're taking these tires from. There you go. There's the tires. Everybody smoke. This is a great time to light up now. And look at how serious they are. This guy's in a lab coat, white gloves, making sure it's going to get aimed.
And it's windy.
It's windy, yeah. Can take this serious. I mean, I'd be scared shitless. Be like, I'm going to fall over. I'm going to fall over and roll. There it goes. And the first tire for the United States is down the ramp. And it's off. Nice touchdown. Looks like about 29 meters. That's a good showing for the United States. There we go. 29 meters. I've seen this video.
Hey.
We need the Weed Olympics with just shit like this. We could announce it. I would love doing sports announcing for this. This would be so fun. What else are you going to do with tires? Here goes the next one. Let's see if this tire will. Based on like laws of physics, mass, energy, force, you would think this tire will go farther. Looks like it's heavier than the previous tire, but who knows? 126 kilometers an hour was the liftoff speed, this particular tire. And, oh, come on, the suspense is killing me, guys. Really? You're going to make us watch it roll all the way? Oh, it didn't roll. It didn't hit the main thing. That's a big crowd.
Can we have a replay?
30 meters. What? See?
Hey.
1 meter far. This is just. Are we on the edge of our seats? Okay, we're done with that. Mike, so 600 of you that watched yesterday, how does this show compare? We're watching tires roll. Talking about weed.
What about some cat videos?
Yes, I'm sorry. I didn't pull up any cat videos. You guys, you like that idea, John? Thank you. Yeah. Is Jilly out of here? Did Jilly have to go? Have a great stony day. Got to go deliver weed and meals. Really? You're going to do that for a living? That's awesome, Julie. Sounds like wonderfulness. All right. Watching tires roll down a hill, we must be stoners. Yes, because it's 420. And even though the Germans don't recognize this as a holiday, the rest of the world does. We don't need the Germans.
Ha!
We don't need them yet.
Well, actually, I didn't know about this day today, and you told me that it was based originally, or the rumor is that it's based on a police code for weed, and as we are doing the dates different than you guys, we have the days, and then the month, and then the year. It wouldn't work out to refer to a police code on this, yeah. But the other date in Germany today is not a weed day, but today is the Führer's birthday.
Right.
Adolf Hitler was born today, 1889, I think it was. So I think this is most common known here in Germany, more than the weed day.
Yeah, and so it's a dark day today in Germany, but as I was telling Marcus, all the better reason to be high, right?
Yes.
So, I didn't know that. I mean, I had no idea. See, we're learning from each other's culture. Over here, we call this the day you get high and celebrate. Over there, it's like, oh, shit. Right?
Yeah, the idiot was born.
The idiot was born. When was our idiot born? When was Twitler born? We got to get that date and make sure we... Yeah, everybody from they're like, that's why Germans don't celebrate. Yeah, it makes sense now. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, so many people didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But the German people really took some time to teach themselves about and educate their children about that whole thing to make sure it didn't happen again. We could have done that with Iraq, right? With the whole 9/11 bullshit, WMD. Now, children, 20 years from now, when they try to do this again, remember who lied to you and how the government lied and what they did and what they said. So when you see it happening again, you won't be dumb fucks. We didn't do that. Germany did that, though. That's why Germany evolved. We didn't do that. We don't do anything wrong. Here's another example. Here, now we're moving. Okay, so we're out of weed. Moving on. Your brother spent $30,000 on pot in 1983. Was it good? Where did he get it from?
It was very bad that he needed so much.
Yeah, and was it all in one shot? And how much did he get for 30 grand? Or was that over a year?
And where did he get the papers?
Yeah. I'm excited. Really? Shit, that's a lot of money. That's like, Scarface amount of pot, big old mountain table. Jim Lockett, fucking Nazis take the fun out of everything.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Whether they're in Germany or America, you're right. Nazis take the fun out of everything. Yeah, what are you gonna do? Speaking of weed, Willie Nelson. Oh yeah. You were talking about what happened to Peace on Earth. Great. Get a link. I always looking for new songs. Willie Nelson. That's great. I've been running out of stuff. The Return of the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers.
Yeah, they were great.
I don't. What is that? Is that?
It's a comic book. You don't know them?
No.
The Fabulous Freak Brothers. Oh, they were great.
Yeah, comic books. The only drugs I take are dispensed by the pharma industry. I'm sorry, John Warren. I'll start smoking the day it's legalized. Yeah. In your state or federally, John? Just curious. Hey, Catherine. Are we literally killing you or literally killing you? Because it has two definitions now. I hope it's not the first literal. It was the second literal. All right. Our fucked up. Where's your towel? Universe that we have here. Listen, I would love to get hemp legalized I don't see why it's not, to grow industrial hemp down here. I'd love to grow industrial hemp in my neighbor's field because I could use it to power engines, right? I do so much stuff with industrial hemp oil, right? Yes, I do discuss medical properties of marijuana all the time. I do. One of the things I'm trying to do right now is get Wild West growers to send some high CBD strain clones. They don't bring those to the dispensaries very often because they're not currently. That's not what rec customers want, right? So all the medical dispensaries get them, medical only ones, but the rec medical dispensaries don't get those high CBD strains. I want the high CBD strain. I need the high CBD strain. I want to create those strains for you guys. Because the new strains, the new lineage of marijuana strains that's coming out are awesome. They're high CBD, which is the main healing cannabinoid, as well as having a moderate level of THC. So they have both of the effects you want. This is like the holy grail. And I'm trying to get a hold of the strain Frank's Gift, because that is the one right now that everybody's like, this is it. And then I want to get that, have a mother plant, and then work on it with various other strains. But yeah, absolutely. Talk about it all the time. I'm working with Woody, who's a vet, who's a medicinal grower, has his medicinal grower license in Eugene, and Laura Livengood, and we're going to create a cannabis show that's really more science-based. Hopefully we'll do it at a time frame where we can have Markus join us, But absolutely. I'm very passionate about that. Thank you for mentioning that, Metal. What, Markus?
Would be very cool, yeah.
Yeah, it would be. Federally, says John Warren. Okay. Well, I want to make that happen. Federally. Yeah, I know, Bernice. It's most of this stuff I smoke really isn't about getting high. It's about keeping my brain sane and my body from feeling pain. Though I have strains, that's what they're for. Absolutely, you got to have those fun strains too. Moving on, I'm going to move on into serious shit. All right. Metalhead says potent CBD strains are showing up in Cali, but it's expensive. Are these in dispensaries or is this on the street? Is anybody selling high CBD on the street? I'd love to know if there's street dealers with that. That'd be interesting. Catherine W. Good. We are having a conversation. I pretend I can hear you. I'm not high. No, I'm just kidding. How much CBD in Frank's Gift? Frank's Gift has like anywhere between 12 and 18. It was the last thing I heard. 12 and 18% CBD, like what you would get out of a high THC or a moderately high THC strain, and it also has about 8 THC. And if you think about it, before, like 2 years ago, the highest CBD you could get in a CBD strain was like 1 to 2%. And that was it. And these strains tasted like shit. They didn't grow good buds, right? Now, they just start, and then last year they started coming out with, or not even last year, like 6 months ago, I started seeing strains that were maybe 5% THC and 2-3% CBD or somewhere around there. They were both low numbers. Now we've got these 15 to 18% CBD, which is massive, and they've got 7 to 10% THC, which is a nice blend. And they're working on, and the buds are good, and they taste and smell good. It's not the nasty crap that it was before. This is just the evolution of the cannabis strains because we're focused on it. It's no different what we're doing here than what indigenous tribes did with corn and squash and every other damn thing we eat and use. That's how we work, right? The nice thing about this, for the most part in our industry, is that we're keeping it non-GMO, even though there are GMO strains that are developed and there are people trying to push that in the market. For the most part, cannabis users are very much more about keeping it natural and organic and pesticide-free, and I think that's good. It's good, you know. Jim Lockett says a non-profit black market here. That's awesome. That's awesome because that's kind of what I want to do, right? I want to create. I don't want to sell weed because that's where I get into big trouble. I want to sell seeds. I don't want to sell seeds. I want to make seeds, right? And I want to send them out. That's what I want to do. There'll be no selling of anything, right? So
you want to spread your seeds.
Yes, which sounds horrific, but yes, that's.
I know.
I want to Johnny Weed Seed. I want to spread my weed seed. Yes, that's what you got, which still sounds not right. I'm just going to stop right there. Going to stop right there. Smoking, eating THC is recalibration of the mind. Change your space, see more. Yes, absolutely. All right. Stephanie. How you doing, Stephanie? Says, summer of 1980, first time I smoked marijuana, finally going to be legal with a medical marijuana card in Connecticut. That's awesome. And West Virginia, just the governor signed legal medical marijuana. So that's fantastic. We've got 28 or 29 states. That's fantastic. It's moving. My uncle wants some of those love seeds. That sounds wrong, too. It sounds really wrong, John. All right. We're going to move out of the cannabis. We're going to move into some seriousness. Okay, seriousness. Just a couple top stories on seriousness. Let me go back and look. Rexon in Russia. That's what's up next. Rexon in Russia. Because this is, to me, this is the ultimate in hypocrisy. The ultimate fuck you. Really. Where'd we go? I'm going to find it. Here. I don't know how much more blatant it can get. Exxon, or Rexon, our Secretary of State, seeks U.S. waiver to resume Russia oil venture. I mean, we've got all this talk going on about Russia and they're the bad guy or the good, I don't know what they are, and meddling with the election and all this. In the meantime, and Trump's trying to say, don't look at me in Russia and there's nothing going on there and blah, 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 whatever, right? In the meantime, a corporation is looking to bypass our own rules against working with Russia so that it can work with Russia for the interest of making money. And because our Secretary of State is the former CEO and still tied to Exxon, the company looking to do this, it's probably going to happen. I don't know how much more corrupt you can get. That's just corporations come in, do whatever the fuck they want, utilize our government, our resources, the people we pay, the tools we pay for, to do their business and violate the laws that they damn well enforce with the rest of us. I would love every member of Congress to take a drug test because you know a good majority of them are using some drug. The drug choice of the greedy class, right? How many of them do you think abuse alcohol? Do you wish we could bring them in for abusing alcohol? How drunk are you usually when you write legislation? It's curious. Or when you're out partying, when you're out dialing for dollars, when you're out doing whatever you're doing with a page in the bathroom stall because whatever, you know. No drilling here. Nothing to see here, says Lynn. Yeah. Exactly. Russia. You guys talking about Thailand, Vietnam, Ellis Ray? You're a vet? 68?
Oh yeah.
We're gonna talk about vets. I want all you vets. What is the deal with Trump signing this? Vets can go outside of the Veterans Administration or for health care. Tell me, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Is it a who gives a shit? I'm just curious what a vet's take on that is. Right. The few vets that I know that are dealing with care from the VA actually are getting halfway decent care from the VA. It's taken them a while to get things done, but most of that's just because of their own health. So I don't have too many bad things to say about it, other than the fact that mental health-wise, we got a lot of problems there, but that's across the board, right? Right. So I'm just curious how you guys feel about that. Here's the other big top story. We talk about the brokenness of our justice system. This is Massachusetts to throw out 21,000 drug convictions after state chemist tampers with evidence. Not only did the chemist tamper with the evidence, like the chemist admitted. I mean, this guy must have been insane. This chemist admitted to just not even checking it. Just, drugs, heroin, cocaine. That's literally, some of these didn't even get tested. This ruined people's lives. There are people that have been in prison for years that were wrongfully convicted of using drugs they never used. Because this fucktard with there was nobody checking on this guy. That's the real issue here. Governments are going to have bad apples. Everything's going to have there's bad people. Bad people are going to show up. People are going to make mistakes, whether they're bad or good, right? But somebody like that's obviously got some fucked up problems with the universe. They're just willing to throw away people's lives by making up convictions, right? You send in a lab test and someone sends it back and tells you you've got cancer and they're joking. Send in a lab test and you've never done drugs and it comes back and says that you were high on something. And your life is ruined because this guy did this. Because why? Because the agencies, the government interagencies that we have do not have proper oversight, do not have proper processes in place. And 21,000 convictions are being thrown out in Massachusetts. This is one state, one instance. Who knows how many wrongfully convicted United States citizens there are just for the prison for profit industry. It's horrendous, absolutely horrendous. And I want to mention this now because I keep forgetting it. But I want to remind everybody, not remind everybody, I just want to tell everybody the kind of person I am. Like, I caught shit the other day for something I said on Twitter as the account Bernie 2016 TV. And I often get comments from burners who are like, you really shouldn't say that. Or Bernie wouldn't say that. Or, I'm not fucking Bernie. I want to make that clear. Bernie is much nicer than I am. I hold every greedy ass fuck congressman, businessman, president, I don't care who they are, they're responsible for the destruction of this planet. And I really believe that a vast majority of them should be dealt with ended justice, real justice, Nuremberg trial kind of justice, Hague kind of justice, UN Council kind of justice. We've got mass super criminals. And we have no problem screaming about things when they're awful and that narrative is pushed on mainstream media, right? But the words that come out of my mouth, if they offend, then really, really you need to take a look at what we're doing because they're outrage and there are no words. I can't even come up with the expletives, the words to describe the shit asshole fucks that these people are and what they have done to our planet, to our people. Because part of what I am and who I am is to be able to go up levels and look and look and look. I'm not saying that's like this, I'm not a fucking mutant like X-Man. I'm just saying I can see a bigger picture and try to encompass it. I have a hard time describing my outrage for these human beings that should be dead. Because you shouldn't get to murder a planet and live. And that's my belief. That's how I feel. This is, I'm not talking about the death penalty and certain. I'm like, if you're a super criminal, and it's factually evident that you have denied science, like Rexon, like the entire CEO board of Exxon and every fucking fossil fuel industry, they know goddamn well what they have done to this planet and they continue to do it. There is no justice for a super criminal psychopath of that magnitude. That's where I come from. My words are kind compared to what these beings have done. I am speaking words. We're talking actions of disgust. So when I hear people give me shit in Twitter or somewhere else, you should be nicer. I'm like, really? Fuck you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that offends. But I have no other way to displace my outrage other than to do that and to be active in my government. Because those people deserve every harsh word that I say at them. They deserve far more than words. We have to shift our thinking. Suits and ties that lie are warmongering pieces of shit that need to die. That's how we're going to shift this planet around. I'm not the bearer of justice, but it's time we recognize the super criminals for who they are and stop exonerating them and stop, be nicer, be kinder. No. Our planet is about to die. The human species is about to end because we've allowed these super criminals to do what they do. And it's time we rise up and stop it. We're doing that. But I will not be kind. I have no kind words. I don't have to tolerate it. I just want to say that. That's probably another reason why I'll never be a politician, is because I don't have the eloquence of words for these kinds of people. Sorry, I don't. And I don't believe it's justified. I don't believe I need to. It's just where I am. When you're faced with
there is a message coming through on chat by chat, and he writes, I heard on NPR this morning that the administration is considering a 20% tariff on all imports and zero duties on all exports. This would destroy the global economy. This would mean, if this is really a fact, and they would decide this would mean a trade war.
That would be insane.
Yes.
That would be insane. This is, and look, I just want to make it clear. I am 100% behind the peaceful takeover of our government and the moving forward of democracy. That's what I want to see happen. I'm moving that forward as fast as possible. I believe in that now. I've been convinced. It took 2 years, okay? But that does not change my outrage. It does not change my anger. It does not change how I feel about those who are in power and what needs to happen. That's my personal feelings. Personal feelings. I'm allowed to have those. What I'm not allowed to do, if I agree to work within the construct of this civilization and adhere to the basic laws, is I'm not allowed to act on those feelings or those thoughts or those statements, right? To whatever extent. I'm not allowed to go rip the heads off of Congress people. No matter how much I want to or how good I think it's going to make me feel, right? I can't act on that, but I can sure as damn well express it. And I'm gonna. Because I want them to know how angry I am. I want them to understand that I consider them to be warmongering super criminals. And that I find no place for them on this earth. I want them to be afraid. I want them to be afraid because they should know that they have done wrong. And that we're going to hold them accountable. We're going to bring them to justice. And their only saving grace is that it won't be me. I won't be bringing anybody to justice. Lucky them. Lucky them. Exxon is violent. They don't care about you, the earth. I know. I still believe that we are going to transform our government. We're going to transform government. I just want to make it doesn't displace the outrage. It doesn't displace the outrage. All right. This is here. Moving on. Dow Chemical paid $1 million to Trump's inauguration so that they could have the administration bypass this law. It's about pesticides. 1800. So the bottom line is that the EPA, whatever was left of it before Trump eviscerated it, did studies by scientists that show that these pesticides are bad for around 1,800 species. Of course, Dow doesn't give a fuck, right? And so they said, we're going to give you some money, and then when you're in power, we need to just make sure this doesn't go through. We need to make sure that the EPA doesn't push that through, and that we ask for a new study. And Dow's lawyers are like, because that study just not the right scientists, not real credible. We've got some scientists over here. We're going to use them. We're going to do our own study. Let's just let it keep internal. We don't really think it. Another example. How do you bring to justice human beings who think it's okay, who are willing to fuck 1,800 species for some profit on a pesticide? That's the lowest. How do you really? How can you live? If I woke up, people like change bodies, and you wake up and you find out, oh my gosh, people don't change their life. A movie where people change bodies, and I wake up in the body of a CEO who runs a chemical pesticide company. Well, that took care of that. I can't even fucking imagine it. Can't even imagine it. It's just. Now, a lot of you guys you gave me shit about this yesterday, and I can understand. All right, so we were talking about John Ossoff, and I don't know who it was, Jilly or somebody else. You guys were talking about corporate interests and don't know about John, and so I back up a step. Bernie Sanders says, I don't know if Ossoff is a progressive. Good point. Bernie doesn't know the guy. All right, I know Bernie. I trust Bernie. Bernie doesn't know. He says here, I don't know. He said Tuesday and blah, blah. If you run as a Democrat, you're a Democrat. Some Democrats are progressive and some Democrats are not. Right? So the only way we are going to really know if Ossoff is an establishment tool in the shed or a people's tool in the shed is by how he votes and what he does. And then we have to hold him accountable if he wins, right? We got the whole thing. But I still think we need to be behind the guy because he's running against a Republican. And in the general sense of it, Democrats and then good Democrats. Right, Chad? Right, Marcus?
I'm not sure about it. If I remember right, recently I read an article about him in which he was described as the new poster boy of the DNC, and this would make me suspicious about him.
Huh?
No further information. This is only a first impression.
All right. Chad, what do you think about Ossoff? Or do you think nothing about Ossoff? All right. The Dems are jacking us all off. That's terrible, Phil. That's terrible. Oh, man. Make sure I didn't forget any of these points. So Dow buying 45 for $1 million. That's pretty cheap. Avoid the study for $1 million. That's really cheap. I like that. Do you get a weird vibe from Ossoff, says Metalhead? JMO, just my opinion. Screw Monsanto, Roundup. Yeah. Oh, I agree. Metalhead says you don't know enough about him. The new reps are not like the old reps, though. You know that? We do have some differences going on. I thought this was cool. These are candidates. So let's make that clear. None of these people have actually won their offices yet. But this is a change. Richmond, Virginia. More than 50 Democrats running for Virginia House pledged to refuse Dominion money. Dominion is this big establishment GOP energy. They're the energy company down there in Virginia. And they just hand out cash to whoever it is so that they can keep doing what they're doing and fight renewables and control a bunch of shit. And so these 50 Democrats, none of them are in office yet, but they're running against various people that are. None of the people that are in office have signed this pledge. It was not sent to them. They're pretty much all on the take, from what we understand. So these guys signed a pledge, say, no, we will not take any of that fucking money. Doesn't mean they won't take somebody else's money, but they will definitely not be taking Dominion money, which apparently is the big problem here. And the spokesperson for Dominion said, well, if we love our community, we love to give you money, why won't you take our money? That's basically what they had to say. So, yeah. Hopeful. See? Hopeful. The new guard is the same old guard. No, we'll see. Chad Lupkes. Look, get a majority of people in that district voting for Democrats, and we will see real progressive candidates running at a local county municipal level below him. He will be replaced if he messes up. Yeah. See? How do we deal with somebody at that level? We make sure we've got people underneath him, around him. He's surrounded. Right? You're surrounded by progressive change. So if we don't see you making some progressive change, we're going to do some changing of you. Right? Markus was nodding.
Yes, sorry, I was just typing. Yes, I agree. And if Chad sees it like this, there is a chance to replace him if he makes major mistakes. Okay, I'm with it, you know. But I think most important would be that he really gets the label from Bernie himself. That he's accepted by Bernie. This should be his. This should be his effort now, and nothing else.
You think that's what he should be doing, is getting the Bernie seal of approval?
Yes.
The only way he's going to get the Bernie seal of approval is by voting, is by showing a consistent voting record. That's it.
Yes.
You know. So.
This is what I mean. He has to show that he deserves. Whoever labeled him a Bernie-crat, he has to show he is one of us.
I agree, and they can only do that with their actions, not words. Right.
Exactly.
If the DNC puts money behind progressive candidates too, then I can get behind more centrist candidates like Ossoff. If not, fuck them. All right. Bev says, trouble is, John, what you're talking about takes months and years, and we don't have to turn. We do. What else are we gonna do? What else are we gonna do, Bev? I mean, we may not, in terms of climate change. You're right. We may not have months and years, but in terms of our government, that's all we got. That's all we got. 6 years. 6 years to end apartheid. 6 years. Andrew Goldstein. Right? Is it Goldstein? Shit. I get the right name right. You know what I'm talking about. Right? Shadow World. He said 6 years. That's how long it took. 6 years to completely transform their government. 6 years. All right? So we got to at least give ourselves that. So if we say we started in 2016, we give the first part of Bernie's campaign 2015. We cut that off. So starting in 2016, we woke up, went, oh fuck, right?
Yes, and there's again the factor time is important. Yeah. It needs time, as I said yesterday and so many times before. The whole thing is a process, and there is no switcher to speed things up. We have to do this. We have to go through all levels, to all instances, and it's the only way to do. And yesterday I had a long talk with Katie Lancer, who will present on Saturday, hopefully, the French election parts, and she agrees, in my opinion, just imagining Bernie would have won the presidency, what would be the political landscape right now? They would try to block him in every way they could. And it might be coming to the worst thing, that it would take the revolution we are experiencing now to an end pretty soon, because of all those who are trying to prevent all the things Bernie wants to do for the people, you know. Yeah. And maybe Bernie is now at the right place and at the right time for fueling the revolution. And I just saw a couple of minutes from his appearance in Louisville, in Kentucky, together with Perez, who was happily only short to see. And it was thrilling to see that he didn't take any word of any other word of what he plans to do. He has still the same ideas, the same plans. He says we must change. The Democratic Party must serve the people, the working people. That is his message, and not the oligarchs, not the 1%. His message didn't change. And I think maybe Bernie is now at this time at the right place with what he's doing right now.
Agreed. And he's leading the Democratic Party without being a Democrat.
Yes.
Okay. And Stephanie Piddock says we need a Iceland-style effort where they threw all their bankers in jail. But the only reason they were able to do that is because they have control of their government. Okay. The people of Iceland and the government of Iceland are doing a lot better together than we are here. So they were able to do those things. Right? Here, our bankers, our corporate criminals are protected, exonerated, not just by our government, but by our media. Look at fucking Trump. One of the most ugly, vile pieces of shit on planet Earth, and the media was all over him. He's wonderful, look at great guy, until, and even when he did so many things, You know the list, and they still tried to exonerate, still tried to work because he's a businessman, he's a billionaire, he's made money. That's what's more important. That's what's make you great. Doesn't matter if you're a rapist, you're a successful businessman, right? Anyway, we can't do what Iceland did to their bankers until we control our government. We could do it at a county level. We could do it at a state level, right? We could pass state laws going after all the bankster criminals if we wanted to. We just have to own the state government. And I think we were on our way to that on the West Coast, at least. You know? Bernie is playing both sides of the fence today, and my opinion is losing. Interesting, says Phil. Bev says, then get ready for wild weather and self-sufficiency living off the land. Oh, absolutely. Bev, look, I agree with you. I think climate change is going to send us into survival mode before we are able to right things. I do. You know, but I'm hoping not. I'm hoping not. I'm sadly, I hope that enough catastrophic events happen with climate change to scare the living fuck out of lazy ass Americans and move us into a climate mobilization. That's what I want. Right? That's what I want. I think it's going to happen. We're going to have our Pearl Harbor moment, our 9/11, and we're going to get all angry and go beat up the climate because that's what we do. Maybe we'll drop a Moab on it or whatever. Sure, we'll find a way to take out climate. I got it. This is and Marcus. Before I move on to the coal museum story, which is really really funny, can you tell us? You want to tell everybody? Wow, I'm not even close to being done with this shit. Give us an update on. Do you want to give us an update on your Syrian friend because it's kind of good news?
Yes, I will. And tomorrow we will do the interview. And I have good news from a lawyer I talked today because the Syrian guy was threatened to be taken back to Syria for some stupid reasons, in my opinion. And it turned out that his German girlfriend is pregnant meanwhile, and this would already prevent any German authority to send him back. So it is 200% sure that he will stay in Germany and he can build up a new existence here in our country.
But it's fantastic. They're still going to do the interview. We'll get his perspective on things, which at this point is a very different story than we would hear in America, because you guys have laws that say, well, he's got a German girlfriend. They're not even officially married. She's pregnant. He's the father. I guess he gets to become a German citizen. Which is see, that's a simple answer right there. The humane, logical choice. He's here. Got a kid. He's German. Welcome.
You cannot break up a family, you know?
You cannot break up a family. Kind of a basic construct of what I would think civilization would want to be. Over here, we've got iceholes running around, breaking up families for absolutely no fucking reason. Even breaking up families of citizens. It's unbelievable that we have a Gestapo running around doing this shit. And I mean, we just watched the DACA dreamer get hauled off because he didn't have his papers with him. Literally, the guy was deported because he didn't have his fucking papers. That's scary as shit. You walking down the street and have an ice hole come up to you and go, show me your papers. It is what I grew up with. Cold War Russia, we were told, oh, be afraid because this is what Russia's like in East Berlin and this is what communism is like. They come up to you and ask you where your papers are. No, that's fucking United States of America if you're not white. The United States of racist, white, greedy old asshole America fucks. What we are. Amerifucks. He still really hasn't addressed our military-industrial complex. Bram, I'm guessing you're talking about Bernie, and I agree. He's mentioned it, but he hasn't gone after it hardcore. I think it's probably because we're not ready. We're not ready. We can't take that beast on yet. We're not ready for that. I mean, it's a massive. We need a lot of troops on the ground across the United States in the Democratic Party, in the Republican Party. We need a lot of troops on the ground in their state, local governments. We need a lot of troops in the federal government, in our judgeships, before we can even think about taking on the military-industrial complex. I do not think people realize just how deep and dark and dank and scary and fucked up it is. And we're not going to, it's a global enterprise of horror, and we don't even really know who the people are that we need to take out in that organization. And you better believe that that's not going to be a peaceful transfer of power. I'm more frightened about the military-industrial complex than I am of any of the little weasel fucks in our government. People like Mitch McConnell will run away when confronted with actual danger. He'll shit his pants, cry, and run away. All right? Paul Ryan is a fucking little turd. He'll run away. Right? But the guys in the military-industrial complex, the gun salesmen, the people that control the big weapons, those are the people I'm worried about. Those are the people I'm worried about. We're not ready to take on the beast yet, Bev. Not yet. Yeah. Bernie has been disappointing in some ways, but here's the thing. Bernie knows a fuckload more about the government than you or I. He's been in it for 30 years. My guess is he knows a whole bunch of shit he can't say. We're all fairly certain he's been threatened. And if I had members of my family being threatened, or if I were being threatened with, I will kill members of your family if you talk about that shit, I'd probably be silent until I knew that I could talk about that shit and get away with it. We're talking scary times, United States of America. We have a scary country. It acts evil. It is evil. And we have to replace a lot of evil people within it. And we have people working behind enemy lines, like Bernie, who are trying to stay there, right? And he's really powerful right now. He's a big target for the military-industrial complex. I want you to think about that. If they wanted to stop this shit, see, they're at a point like, well, if we kill him, we could probably squelch this. Or we could ignite an uprising that would kick our ass. Right? That's why they don't want to touch that powder keg right now. Right? I know that we have a government. We have government agencies that are thinking about these things all the time.
I don't think that Bernie would be anyhow in danger right now, because look, the worst case scenario. I don't want to even imagine this, but if something would happen to Bernie and it would become clear that that there was someone behind it from the military or something like this, or there would be rumors only about it. What would this cause? I think this would cause an uproar in America.
It would, but they would cloud the truth, so no one would know. It would just cause utter chaos.
I don't think this would work anymore. Then
I hope. Yeah, I don't know.
They would get away with this, and they know it.
I agree.
Once he would or will be president, then the danger would be much more serious, in my opinion.
Probably. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why I brought. It's just I'm scared of what our government will do, because our government has no problem murdering citizens to accomplish what it wants to accomplish. We are nothing to our we are shit. We are fodder, all of us. Right? Even rich people. Doesn't really matter. One rich person look at another rich person and go, I need you out of my way. Fuck you. Those are the people that run our government right now. That's what a psychopath is. Someone who really just doesn't give a fuck. You know? And we have a government being run. We have a GOP that runs that way. Doesn't give a rat's fuck about human life. Certainly not yours. You know, and that's frightening. It's frightening. We're way late today. What, Marcus?
Okay, John, just a quick thing to what you said earlier about Bernie and his experience in politics. You got to see how much discipline it takes after this scandalous primaries that he didn't run around and accuse Clinton or the DNC or anyone that they cheated him, you know. In my opinion, he put his ego after his ideology, and for this he gets my whole respect.
Yeah, I agree. He's made some statements as of late about what happened, and he said he wasn't pleased with what went on over there. But you're right; he's not name calling. He's not, He's not blaming anybody. He's just saying,
Yes.
guys, we need to fix it. We need to fix the party. Let's go fix it. Right? That's what he's saying. We're really, really late. I'm not even going to cover half these damn stories, which sucks. There's some cool stories. We'll go through them real fast. Remember the Coal Museum that's going solar?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There's a link in here, everybody, if you want to laugh your ass off. The full story in here is that one of the coal miners started this adventure like 10 years ago with a whole bunch, and they did some really cool stuff. And he started learning about renewables, and he was like, it was almost like the movie Footloose, but with a coal miner who wants to go renewables, right? Comes to a town, they're like, oh no, you're not going to bring those renewables in here. And he's like, oh, come on, they're not that bad. Like, that's literally what happened is he went to, they're like, no, just keep that out of here. And now they all like it and they're happy. It's just kind of funny that it was a coal miner who was one of the last union coal miners. They don't have any union coal miners in Kentucky anymore. You know that? All the coal is produced by non-union coal miners, comes out of one area, and coal is still the predominant energy fuel for Kentucky. But this guy started working with rooftop solar and building these things years ago because he thought, duh, right? And now they've got projects going. They've got rooftop solar projects going on, and for commercial buildings, not just the museum in Kentucky, and it's starting to really compete with the fossil fuels. So, smart ass coal miner right there. In many ways, this is just the piece I want to show you. Just real quick, this is the kind of bullshit. GOP senator blocks veteran suicide prevention bill. Right. Now, my thing here with this is that the senator says this bill doesn't do anything, and we need to hold ourselves accountable for we need to hold the vet administration accountable. That's so what it does is provide money to the Veterans Administration for a couple things. One, some kind of oversight committee, which I agree. I don't really think we need another goddamn oversight committee. The Veterans Administration should be managing its own shit. All right? We don't need a bunch of senators to come down every once in a while and look at the shit it's doing. Veterans Administration should be managing its own shit. All right? But it also provided money for a lot more psychiatrists and psychologists, which we need in all of aspects of our health system. We don't look at mental health or treat mental health correctly in the United States because Ronald Reagan was a dumb fuck. And he gutted mental health services because he needed them badly. So, we don't have that here. So that would have been good to provide the money. Maybe oversight committee unnecessary, but whatever. Okay. But his reasoning, he says, because we have to hold the Veterans Administration accountable. Well, then why don't you write a legislation that actually does that, Mr. Lazy White Fuck? Instead of just saying no, why don't you write legislation that actually accomplishes what you think needs to be accomplished? I don't understand this, right? So that's just the whole thing is like a big waste of time. Go through this. Well, why don't you put the shit in the bill that you want in the bill instead of waiting around and then just denying it? I don't understand that. It's because none of them really care. He doesn't really give a fuck. It's just not in his interest. There's nothing there. There's no money for him to make off this. Remember, that's all. If there's profit involved, great. If there's no profit involved, no, don't really care. Just don't understand. I don't understand why our military isn't responsible for everything going on with the vets. From the moment they come in to the moment they leave. I know there's some other administration and there's some discretionary budget and blah, 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 blah. The military gets all of our fucking money. Our vets should be living in mansions. We have enough resources. It's unfucking believable how much money we will spend on weapons of war and spend on our vets when we send them to war. But when we come home, we piss on them and tell them to get out of our way as the military. And I hold the military responsible. The military. Every fucking member of the military should hang their heads low at the way they treat themselves when they're done with the fucking military. It's unbelievable, the hypocrisy there. Thank you for your service, soldier. Get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah, cannon fodder, the one or the other way.
Yep. It's unfucking believable. Anyway, so there's that. Let's see what else I was going to hit here. I want to. This is the Tea Party conservative thing. We're going to run over. We're going to watch this, and then I'm going to blast through the science stuff, and then we're going to listen to the music at the end. But this is important. I want you to listen to what this Tea Party founder says about discussing climate change with Republicans, with conservatives, with anybody who doesn't believe in the idea of climate change, which is what we're confronted with right now, or doesn't think that we need to do anything about climate, which is the majority of what we get confronted with, you know? And I can already tell that I wouldn't agree with a lot of things this woman would have to say, but she's right.
This is my cell phone, okay? Does that look like that is the cell phone case of a liberal? My dad is a retired Baptist minister. He told me that in order to get people to hear your message, you have to get them in the church. That is a mistake that a lot of environmentalists make when talking to Republicans and conservatives about solar, about clean energy. They lead off with climate change. That is the wrong message. If you deliver the message of energy freedom, energy choice, competition, national security, innovation, all of a sudden you will have a receptive audience and they will listen to you. If you lead off with climate change, they're not going to pay a bit of attention to anything else you say. They've been brainwashed for decades into believing, that we're not damaging the environment. Unfortunately, a lot of these fossil fuel interests and giant monopolies have been telling we're not damaging the environment.
Everyone agrees that burning fossil fuels releases carbon dioxide and that such concentrations in the atmosphere are rising. But it's a long and dangerous leap to conclude that we should therefore cut fossil fuel use.
You have industries that have a lot of money in deep pockets, and they're willing to use that money to put out negative facts and bogus studies to convince us that renewables are bad.
Get the facts about these out-of-state solar companies at azsolarfacts.com.
And by God, they're not going to get away with it. You have to understand one thing. The Republican Party has always been, in the past, a party of conservation. Richard Nixon, Republican president, actually created the EPA to make sure we had clean air and clean water.
Each of us all across this great land has a stake in maintaining and improving environmental quality.
Ronald Reagan is not actually known as an environmental president, but he was a conservationist. He actually believed man was damaging the environment, and he advocated very strongly for and signed the months. If Ronald Reagan were alive today and he wanted to ban aerosols, fluorocarbons, because he saw scientific evidence that they were damaging the environment, some of these same groups that are attacking renewables would be attacking the conservative icon Ronald Reagan. One of the reasons I'm fighting very hard to bring conservatives on board and to educate conservatives to advance renewables, failure is not an option. This earth is not a Republican earth. It's not a Democrat earth. This earth belongs to all of us.
Not bad for a Tea Party, right? She's founder of the Tea Party. And I saw your message about the line on the bottom. Unfortunately, with Facebook video, it doesn't work that way. That shit just stays there, which is why I can't stand running Facebook video, but it's usually safer than running other video. And yes, Melissa, listen, I know a lot of people are like, Ronald Reagan, he did not, right? Right? Listen to the way you guys are going off. But if you were talking to a conservative, they'd be like, oh yeah, right on point. It's how we deliver the narrative.
Exactly.
right? And it totally is it safe? Yes. What did you close your eyes and ears, Phil? John Warren, you're right. This woman gets it.
She's absolutely right, and it was a very good message because I didn't see that point before. Yes, exactly. We are always talking about climate change, but yes, I can imagine that the message resonates more if it is be presented like the freedom of energy is etc. You know, the freedom of choice of energy. You know, it's perfect. Yeah,
it absolutely is. If we change this, and this is I saw somebody else post about the Perez Bernie thing and the tour, and they were like, I'm so tired of Democrats talking about messaging. And I agree to the extent that it's really tired to hear them say the same shit over and over and over again. And the messaging is super important because it's that repetitive messaging that had the Tea Party take over the GOP. It's that repetitive messaging that's had my parents not really all that excited about climate change, right? I mean, that's that messaging, whether it's coming from MSM or coming from us, whoever it's coming from, it's absolutely important. If we're trying to change minds, and I want to, no matter how much I want to go up to somebody, if I meet somebody on the street, particularly here in Albany, that says climate change is bullshit, my initial reaction is to say, and you're an idiot, and I hope natural selection takes you off this earth via climate. But that's not going to change their mind. That's not going to help me save the planet. That's not going to help me get them to vote for environmental protections. If I address it like, are you a big fan of Reagan? I wasn't a fan of Reagan, but I really like what he did about the chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs, because, you know, he realized they were an issue. Now, Reagan also loved cars and was a big fan of the fossil fuel industry. Okay, so Reagan took the solar panels off the White House. Okay, so but we're not going to say these things. We're not going to mention those things if we're talking to a Republican who likes Ronald Reagan. We're going to say, you know, Reagan was a man's man and whatever, great big dick Reagan, and you know, but we're going to mention that he understood that he was a conservationist and he believed that man was damaging the environment, and he believed that he was damaging the environment with chlorofluorocarbons, and you know, we have pretty good evidence today that we're damaging the environment with these other things, and if Reagan was alive today, he'd probably be working on that. Don't you think? Well, I don't know. That's Ronald Reagan. I mean, we could have him blow a whole fucking fuse, right? It's and I'm sorry, I don't mean to fuck from the South. It's just
no. They are.
We have to bribe them more then, says Bernice. Republicanese is what we have to speak there. Yeah. I must smell to, you probably meant sell to church people. Yes. Look, she is, national security is one, which is working, right? We've got generals, our own Pentagon and military industrial complex is like, yes, this is, General Mattis is in there going, climate change is important to think about for national security. Duh. The electric grid, you could just go off that direction. She's brilliant. That's exactly how we need to. How do we reshape the message? That's, you know what that is, everybody. That's called public relations, PR. Edward Bernays. How do you shape the message for that audience to get them to do what you want them to do? Right. All of Germany is north of 47 degrees latitude. If they can go solar and wind, why can't we? That's very true. All of Germany is north of 47 degrees latitude? Wow, Markus.
We are not that big.
We got 7 in there, 37, 38.
It's not a big country, and yeah.
All right. We're late, everybody, so I'm going to skip some of the other things. We'll run them tomorrow, but I do want to show you this one since today is 420, and we were talking about cannabis. This, they've been doing studies like this forever. I remember shit coming out about like this. They were doing studies in the 60s and 70s. 80s. This is the first evidence that psychedelics cause a higher state of consciousness found by scientists. Right? Not just we got a bunch of people high and put them in a room and studied them for a while and found out what they thought. They're doing brain mapping, high-end brain mapping, and what they can see is that the pattern of neural activity, they know what it normally looks like. And like, that makes sense, and it's supposed to go this way and that way, and here's how things flow, and everything's organized. When they put people on different drugs, ketamine, LSD, and I don't know what the other one was here, they're seeing psilocybin, and mushrooms. So shrooms, ketamine, and LSD. And you're thinking, but your neurons are thinking in different ways, new pathways, flowing in different places, all right? The activity, the energy is going to different places. Literally, in the second sense, because there's no box, thinking outside of the box, right? Or allowing your neurons to reorganize their pathways on the spot. That's the difference, all right? We have neural pathways that are memories, right? That's how we store information. It's like one connects to the other, and maybe it's got a smell over here connected to this image over here, connected to this instance over here, and all of that together means something. And the reason this is exciting for me is because this kind of brain salad, right, as I'm going to call it, is what happens when I have a seizure, right? Doesn't feel as great, hurts like a bitch, but your brain gets just jumbled. Your neurons, your pathways. That's why my smells get connected with different points of past. Or it's really bizarre. My smells, my memories. For me in particular, smells get just like right now. My house, my bedroom in particular, smells like vacation with my mom, 1985 on the Jersey coast. It's so strong when I walk in there that I almost want to turn around and look for her. It wasn't that way before. That same odor, which is basically kind of a sea salty, maybe a little bit of mold odor. I know that sounds terrible. My house smells. I love it. It's because it reminds me of my mom. Right? It didn't used to attach to that. Now it does because I had a seizure. It changed, right? And that, so things, the fact that they're understanding that you can, when a human being does this, that it does reshape things. And now we can start to understand why these drugs are helpful with maybe somebody with suffering depression or schizophrenia, because it allows for the remapping. It helps you remap, helps you reorganize, think outside the box. And there's a value to it, an actual value to it within your brain structure, not just, sort of understood therapeutic value. Marcus is smiling. What do you think, Marcus?
I'm thinking, John, read the damn book.
I got it. I know. I will read the book. He wants me to read the book. He wants me to read the book?
Yes.
Yeah. Bong time, Barbara. Bye. Go do that bong.
See you, Barbara.
All right. Florida almost treats solar panels like a class 1 narcotic. I know. I know. Florida is afraid. Florida is not aware of the sun's power. It's just evil and dirty. Stay away from that power. Lynn Vermont says, John, sometimes I smell smoke gas for weeks. Neurologist is telling me rare migraine. I can also smell my kindergarten cafeteria in many old places. Yeah. I think I think cannabis helps with that too. I think, it's the whole, when we're 17 and smoking, we're like, I'm expanding my mind, man. It's like, well, you kind of are. You kind of are, because the scientists are saying this is reaching a higher state, not necessarily a better state, but they're calling it a higher state of consciousness because of the amount of activity going on, right? Our brains can do far more than we understand. We've just spent more time focusing on our knuckles, All right, we're really, really late. Marcus, tell us all about Joy Division, the song today.
Yeah, yes. As I was not aware that today is a very important holiday for you guys, I have nothing fitting prepared. I would have had a lot of stuff, maybe at a later occasion. But today I just chose one of my favorite bands. It's Joy Division. They are from the UK, and they were active only a short period, only from 1976 to 1980. And they had no real hit in the USA, I guess, because they never made it there. They brought out 2 albums, and the last one came out in 1980. Just the night before they planned to fly to the US, the singer of the band, Ian Curtis, committed suicide. He hanged himself, and this was the quick end of Joy Division. But the other members went on, and maybe some of you guys will know them by the name New Order. And they had a bigger hit in Europe. I don't know if they made it to to the US with this. This was, let me see, it was New Order. Oh, I lost the title, sorry. Anyway, this is one of my favorite bands because they are one of the pioneers of the post-punk era, and they are, in their style, they are very unique, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it. And see you tomorrow.
Thank you, and this bridges worlds. It was New Order. I think they covered this song again.
Blue Monday. This was the big hit in Europe. I got it.
So that was the hit in America as well. That's what I remember it being, but I didn't know the history.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yes.
Marcus and I were talking about this earlier. So, all right, awesome. Thank you for that information on that. And here we go, everybody. Joy Division, Love Will Tear Us Apart, which is apparently the original title, right?
Yes.
We'll see you all tomorrow on Awake. Tomorrow, what is today? Oh, wait a minute. I'm so bad. Today, we've got Scott Galindez live from Nebraska, right? So join us for that. That's happening at 6 p.m. Central Time. I'll go live at 3:45-ish Pacific Time, right? So 6:45-ish East Coast Time. Do a little 15-minute pre-show, and then we'll cut to Scott, and he'll be broadcasting it. That's Bernie and Keith Ellison, all right? And I prefer to hear Keith over Tom. So Bernie and Keith on the tour. Keith's opening. There's like a whole hour of speakers before Bernie comes on, just to let you know. So it's like 6 to 7 is opening acts, and then 7 o'clock is when we get the burn. So that's just join us for that. Yeah. There we go. Thank you. And
right.
Here we go.
Have fun.
Thanks, Marcus. Thank everybody.
See you.